songs, I'm going to break down a personal favourite of mine off of It's All a Bit Fuzzy, titled Some Kind of Static. This tune is a special one for me. There's a lot of DHM going on. DHM is a term coined by the guitarist from Chic, Nile Rodgers, who came up with this phrase, DHM, deep hidden meaning, which is what they put into a lot of their songs to give them a little bit of extra worth to themselves. So even though the song might seem like it's about something obvious, more often than not, it's about something either completely different than what you initially think the lyric is saying, or there's just something in there that means something special to you as the creator. And there's a lot of that in this song. The verses are speaking to experiences that Mark and I have had at music festivals and relationships with friends, wives, girlfriends, family members, etc. And for us, that means the song is a little bit more tender and like special to us. And I think that when you give this song the time of day and you listen to it, it does grow on you like that. It's one that really it's a special one. I love it. So first and foremost, I think some cool stuff going on here initially is the field recordings I've put at the start of the song as it sort of opens up. The first field recording here is of our music studio in MacArthur Park, and you can hear fire engines and all sorts of wild stuff happening outside. It's a bit of a circus down there, so on any given day you don't know what's going to happen outside, but you can hear here the sound of a fire engine honking. Again, more here. Cars going past, what have you. Then there's also a recording of Mark and our videographer Kyle in New York City unwrapping their food at a restaurant, which I thought was kind of funny, and I just included over the top of the street noise.
Yeah, baby.
And then again, more street noise from our time in Mexico City. All of that adds to this like kind of interesting ambience at the start of the song as it kind of like opens up, which I think is cool. Initially, this song took on a lot of forms. It took Mark and I a long time to land on what we wanted to do with this one stylistically. It initially started with some chords that I learnt. These 4 chords here. Feels very much like Daft Punk, obviously a huge influence on me, and I wrote the whole progression around those 4 chords, and ended up the bass line felt too similar to something Daft Punk would do, so then I ended up just focusing on simply those 2 chords, but playing them in reverse as opposed to it descending, play them going up. So I ended up writing the whole song groove around that. Pretty typical Neil Francis production process here, where I had electronic drums, I've got an 808 kick layering at the bottom, and then I've had our drummer, Rhythm, who played drums on this record. He came into a friend of mine's studio and we recorded him playing along to the track over the electronic drums, and then I took the electronic drums out and kind of like made a mix of the two. So as usual, I can never really get a good kick drum sound from a live drum kit, so I end up usually always layering it with an electronic kick. Maybe someone can teach me how to do that at some point, I don't know. But then mixed, there is also something to be said about the sound of an 808 kick amongst a live drum kit that I think is unique too. Just adds a little bit more punch down the bottom. That's the main part of the groove. I've then added in little bits and pieces to emphasize. You can hear those reverse claps now. This one is kind of a little bit of a throwback to my dance music days. In this day and age of TikTok and everybody wants it right now and everyone's got ADD, it's like you got to get to the chorus within the first 2 seconds of the song and make it as catchy as possible right away. And what I like about this song is that it's patient. It doesn't rush in with all the choruses. It arguably doesn't even have a chorus, really. But I think is what makes it cool, and why I like it so much is that there is a lot of nuance into it, kind of like opening up over the course of the record. So opens up with the drums and these keys and the ambient field recordings. And just builds from there. So I bring in more layers of those keys. Bass line, although the original pass was feeling kind of like Daft Punk's song Voyager, this one ended up feeling, after sort of zeroing in on the chords that I wanted to use, kind of has like a Revolution 909 feel, like dun 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 dun. It's like very drivey, this song. I think the most captivating part of this song is the vocal stuff going on. So as I said, very lyrically dense, this song. There's a lot being said. We were listening a lot to Underworld, Born Slippy during the creation of this album and this song in particular, and Mark took a big kind of influence in how lyrically dense that song was, just like a bombardment of lyrical content. So we tried to have the same approach with this song. There's two different vocal takes here that I'm working with. Basically, it's three recordings of him delivering the vocal in his chest voice. So chest voice sounds like this.
Thump, thump, thumping in the tent tonight. That slow type Barbie girl's just like my Barbie, but a Punjabi Barbie and a Southern belle, a smoke show, disco Barbie and a bow is a guy.
And then to emphasize the next 8 bars, then it comes in with like more of a head voice on top of that. So the head voice soloed is this.
Got that love from the moment we met, and it's pretty, but it's more than a candy's friend.
But then mixed with.
Got that love from the moment we met, and he's pretty, but he's more than a can, he's a friend.
And also to emphasize that moment, there's some background vocals, just of some classic oohs along the way. So that whole like vocal bed together ends up sounding like this.
Got that love from the moment we met, and he's pretty, but he's more than a can, he's a friend. He's a 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. I remember every time that
with the beat.
Got that love from the moment we met, and he's pretty, but he's more than a can, he's a friend. He's a 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. I remember every time that we went to oblivion.
The other magical part about this one is our Roland Juno arpeggio thing happening here. Really captivates and like sets the end off as being like kind of like a climax moment. So yeah, but by pure accident, I happened to be copying things across, and I got to a point where I didn't copy things across, but I left the vocals in the mix, so it ended up coming in completely a cappella, which caught me by surprise. And it's like little accidents like that can sometimes inform the structure of a song. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh wow, that's so compelling, just hearing the vocal on its own. And then you get the payoff of the synth kind of like building up, and then the climax of the song at the end here, so you can hear how nice that sounds, that moment.
I'm the middle of the world, I think, I swear I've never seen that kind of light. It's like it's shining in reverse, pulling everything inward. Pull my head, take me out tonight. You're some kind of static, you're the pulp of the universe.
this one as well live. Some other little synth moments, little typical things that we do is like there's like a little riff here, and then either played a harmony or just pitched, but then mixed together as one sound is cool. Same with these little bits here during the post, kind of like vocal parts. And in the mix. Often my approach to like mixing sounds is it's sometimes like it can be two, it can be three or four different variations of playing either the same riff or a harmony or an octave down, but the goal is to make, say, 3 or 4 different instances of something happening sound like one thing. So you're trying to constantly think about gluing it together as like one thing in the mix here. So even though, as I said, there's 2 parts making that sound, in my mind I'm mentally trying to make that sound like one piece of audio. So I'm always trying to glue together as opposed to separate. I never really understood when mixing engineers or people say trying to create separation. In my opinion, you want to create glue, you want to stick it all together, you want to get rid of all the air bubbles, you want to like make sure it's all stuck and like sounding smudgy and kind of like all in the one sort of singular world. So that's the sort of run through with Some Kind of Static. It's got the field recordings in the mix, it's got the combination of live drums and electronic drums. Lots of vocal layering in this one, lots of DHM, dedicated to our friends, dedicated to our experiences. We love playing this song live. I knew it was special the first time we played it, and nobody knew it in Solana Beach, and we didn't play it all that well as a band, but the moment at the end when the arpeggiator comes in and that synthesizer moment comes in and it all comes together, I think we all kind of like looked at each other and we're like, fuck, this is something special. So I hope you enjoy it too. Look forward to playing it at all of our shows coming up this year.
These moments like a photo dimension.